everybody, it's Big Dazz here. Today we're going to be making one of my favourite dishes. They're little mince sausages called Ćevapi or Ćevapčići, and they come from the Balkan region of Europe. It's pretty much the national dish of that area. It sort of depends on which part of that area that you live in. That determines the type of meat you'll use and also what's available. Where my wife's family come from, they like to have a combination of beef and pork. Now you can buy that minced up already from the supermarket. You can buy it from the butchers. I like to do it myself. And here we have some tasty pork belly and some nicely marbled Scotch fillet. It doesn't need to be Scotch fillet. This was quite a bargain where I bought it, and the texture was just perfect. You can use chuck or any cut of meat with good fat content. We don't want our minced meats to be too lean for this dish. So I'm going to trim this up, I'm going to mince it, and then I'll be back shortly and I'll show you how to blend all the ingredients together. All right, here we are back again. We've got our meat trimmed up. I've got exactly 500 grams of beef and 500 grams of the pork. If you're going to do this yourself and you're going to mince it yourself, I suggest you put your mincer in the refrigerator. I've had that in the freezer. It minces up a lot better if it's cold. We don't want this to get too hot. As far as the preparation goes yourself, think about getting the butcher to do it. It is a difficult job to trim that pork belly. Or alternatively, get your mince just from the supermarket. That's totally fine. So we're going to get going on mincing this up. Okay, so once we've got the mince done, we're going to refrigerate that again for about 20 minutes just to cool the mince down, and then I'm going to prepare our spices, and we'll go through what sort of spice you need to use to get these tasting absolutely beautiful. All right, so we've got our mince. As you can see, it's very fatty, and that's what we want. It's just chilled down a little bit. We're going to add the ingredients now to give that the flavour that it needs. First thing that we use is 2 cloves of garlic. Now, some people like more garlic. We don't like too much garlic, so 2 cloves of garlic it is for us. The next ingredient is really important. It seems like a lot, but there's 4 teaspoons of black pepper. So we're just going to mix that through, sprinkle that over there. And then the real flavour comes from these 2 ingredients, Knorr Aromat and Vegeta. So I've got 2 teaspoons of the Knorr Aromat and 2 teaspoons of the Vegeta. Pop that in. If you don't have those 2 ingredients, you can substitute by using beef stock and salt. And then there's a big controversy going around, and that is whether to put bicarbonate in there. Just normal bicarb, a very generous pinch. I think it makes them too rubbery. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to mix this up, and then we're going to divide our mince into 3 pieces, 3 sections. We're going to have no bicarb, a pinch of bicarb, and then our third one is a secret ingredient, and I'm going to disclose that at the end of the video. So we just mix those through a little bit with a wooden spoon, just to combine them well, and that is looking very, very nice there. And there's that sound that no man likes to hear. And we're going to really mix that in very thoroughly. And that looks absolutely and utterly perfect. We want to let this sit for at least a couple of hours. Sometimes I even leave it overnight to let those flavours, the garlic and the other spices, go through the mince and really give it the flavour we want. But we're going to eat these today, so I'll probably be back in an hour or 2 to form the little Ćevapčićis, and there's a couple of ways we can do that. I generally like to do it by hand. Well, we're back again. I've done a little bit of preparation. I've got the first Ćevapi mix, which has no bicarbonate. I have the second Ćevapi mix, which has a couple of generous pinches of bicarbonate of soda, and they've got skewers through them all the way up to the hilt, so we know which ones they are. And I've got my final Ćevapi mix, and I'm about to add the secret ingredient to that. So we're going to just flatten that out. A little bit noisy. And I've got my secret ingredient here. Just going to mix that in. There are little machines that you can use to form the Ćevapi, but I find that they're a little bit too thin and I like to keep them nice and thick and juicy. So the way you roll them is you grab a piece roughly that size and you just roll them around. Wear gloves because your hands will smell of the garlic. I can really smell that garlic. They smell absolutely and utterly beautiful. And we should get around about 24 Ćevapi of that size out of 1 kilo of mince. It doesn't really matter. Now you'll notice just in front of me too there's a couple of little jars of things. This one here is Avjar. It's a relish made from red peppers, and it is my favourite accompaniment with these. But also you can have Dijon mustard, and then you have that with a little bit of chopped red onion or white onion. It just takes a little bit of patience to do these nicely, and I like to make a little bit of an effort, make them look nice. And they cook up a little bit better if you do take that effort. One of the things that my wife's grandmother always used to do was she actually used to test the raw mince just to check the flavour. So I thought I'd probably grab one and have a little taste myself. It's not so good raw. In fact, I don't mind raw meat, but I think I'm going to prefer it cooked. But seeing as I made such a big effort, I think I'll have the lot. It's sticking a little bit on the way down. I think I'll have a little sip. That really helps. All right, I'll see you at the barbecue. So the trick to grilling Ćevapi is to have the heat very high to begin with. And once they're browned on the outside, you reduce the heat to moderate. This will allow the Ćevapi to cook through but stay nice and juicy. So I'll add a bit of extra pepper here. And some extra salt as well. You can see that they're cooking up very nicely there, just turning them gently. Now that they've browned on the outside, I'll transfer them to a moderately hot plate. This will allow the Ćevapi to simmer and cook all the way through. So the Ćevapi are done and ready to serve after about 15 minutes, and boy, they smell good. So you can really have anything you like with the Ćevapi. We're going to have a mixed leaf salad with them tonight, and as you can see, some pan-fried potatoes. It's very easy to make these and they are an absolute winner. Simply peel your potatoes and chop them into cubes, then boil them in salted water for roughly 20 minutes, just until they soften. Then drain the potatoes well and shallow fry in olive oil. As they're frying, sprinkle with some salt, pepper and seasonal spice. Cook them till they're nicely browned. Well, here we have our dinner. On the left you'll see the pan-fried potatoes with a serve of mayonnaise below them and the mixed salad in the middle. At the top of the plate with the red colour is our Avjar. Then we have some Dijon mustard and the finely diced red onion. Our Ćevapi, I'm going to have more than those three, but this is a taste test. On the left is the secret ingredient, in the middle the Ćevapi with no bicarb, and on the right the one with bicarb. And I'll be back shortly to tell you which one we think is the clear winner. Well, I must say that was a fantastic dinner, polished off with a little bit of lovely red wine. So the controversy we had, just to remind you, is whether or not to use bicarb soda. A lot of people swear by it, and we found tonight that it made the Ćevapi absolutely rubbery. So under no circumstances use bicarb soda. I think what must have happened is that people were confused with bicarb soda and baking powder, which was our secret ingredient tonight. The Ćevapi were definitely a little bit fluffier with the baking powder, but actually it really made no difference overall. So for us, the winner is just the Ćevapi, the basic mix, as I've shown you. Don't use this, and you don't really need to use this. But it's a fantastic meal, it's economical, and I've had an absolutely lovely meal. See you again later.